Good morning. I am Missy Moore at Baker Elementary School. This is my 4th grade class, and today we are working on crafting stronger conversations by actively listening and speaking while being respectful. Girls and boys, in just a moment, we are going to head to the carpet. We're going to sit in a circle formation facing my chair. Good morning, girls and boys.
Good morning, Miss Moore.
So today we are working on still having those conversations. We're thinking about our Sanford Harmony goals, about motivating each other, being kind, being respectful, but we're also thinking about how to have those longer conversations. Think about it for a second. Have you ever had a bad day? Probably. I know I've had a bad day. Well, we're going to start with a story. Even superheroes have bad days. And if you can't see the book, feel free to scoot into the circle a little bit. Our characters are Beastie, Zing, Thrash, Laserman. Even Superheroes Have Bad Days by Shelley Becker. When superheroes don't get their way, when they're sad, when they're mad, when they have a bad day. They could use superpowers to kick, punch, and pound. They could shriek, they could screech with an ear-piercing sound. They could crush wooden crates and bend metal gates. They could throw trucks and buses across several states. They could knock over buildings like towers of blocks and crumble the streets into rubble and rocks. They could use laser eyes to ignite forest fires or fling boomerangs to deflate the town's tires. But upset superheroes have all sorts of choices. Instead of destruction and loud, livid voices, they burn angry steam off with speed of light hiking or super extreme outer space mountain biking. They race to the rescue of people in need and delight in the joy of a super good deed. They hatch super plans to banish world sadness, building fabulous theme parks for giggles and gladness. They chase wanted bad guys with supercharged zing, dragging hundreds to jail while police dance and sing. They track down and tame super menacing beasts and transform pity parties to victory feasts. But displeased superheroes who don't feel serene could have super temptation to cause a bad scene. They could blast icy blizzards on hot afternoons or walloping twisters and monster typhoons. They could spin super webs super far, super sticky, and tangle up towns with their silk super icky. They could rotate the planet and mess up world time, or sit back and relax while the world fills with crime. When superheroes don't get their way, when they're sad, when they're mad, when they've had a bad day, they could super rampage. They could, but they don't. Because real superheroes just wouldn't. They won't. Instead, they dig down to their super best part, the strong superpowers contained in their hearts. And using their talents as true heroes should, they battle the urge to do harm, though they could. They acknowledge their sorrow, their anger, their pain, as they wait for their super emotions to wane. It's okay if they frown. It's okay if they sigh. It's even okay if they slump down and cry. But then they get up and get on with their day, saving the world in their most super way. The end. So, what we're talking about today, if everyone can see my anchor chart, we're still working on crafting stronger conversations. I want us to especially look at question. That's when you hear someone say something and you say, why is, and maybe you say, why is it that you feel that way? Why is that your favorite? What is something else you can tell me about that? Because you want that conversation to keep going. How did you feel? That is one that I want us to really think about today, because when we have a bad day, there's lots of feelings going on, right? So I'm going to practice this. Peyton, since you're standing right here, if you'll stand up for me. And you're going to be my questioner. So I'm going to talk first, and then you're going to ask me some questions. I had a really bad day recently. You guys know I have 3 cats. One of my cats got out the front door. I held the door open just a little too long, and she got out. She was gone for hours. That was my bad day. Do you have a question you'd like to ask me?
How do you feel about your cat getting out?
I was so scared for her, and I was so mad at myself. I wanted to stomp around the house because I was like, this was just so ridiculous.
But did you find your cat? Did she come back?
She did come back. She came up to the porch, and I tricked her into the house with some food.
What food did you trick her with?
I tricked her with her favorite, turkey and giblets wet food.
Where did you get it from?
I bought it at PetSmart.
Oh, well, PetSmart.
The one near my house.
Where do you live?
I live in Mechanicsville. And so, do you see how that's a longer conversation than, why were you sad? Well, I was sad because my cat got out. Is that a longer conversation? She's asking all kinds of questions, right?
Yeah.
So, when you're thinking about questions to ask, it could be about the food. She could have asked maybe a different question. Thank you, Peyton. Raise your hand if you could ask a different question. James.
What aisle was it in?
I have no idea. But I like that question. I want us thinking a little bit more focused on the bad day. And maybe the cat, or what happened that the door was open. Everybody think for just a moment. Hands in your lap while you're thinking. Think, 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 think. Then raise your hand if you have a question. Caleb.
What is your cat's name?
My cat's name is Juno. Aki.
Oh, where do you think your cat went?
I think she went around our fence and into our woods. Was that your question too? I love your me too. Tamaya.
How was the door open?
The door was open because I was letting our dog outside to go to the bathroom, and she was taking a really long time to go out, and so my cat slipped right out. That was your question too? A different question, Damien.
Did your cat get hurt while she was in the woods?
She did not get hurt. I think she just ran around for a few minutes and realized she liked life better inside. Caleb, did you have a different question?
Did she smell weird when she came back in the house?
I don't think I smelled her, so maybe she didn't smell weird since she wasn't stinky. Rayma, different question.
Did the dog still go outside to go to the bathroom?
She did still go outside. They're friends, so she didn't chase her.
Okay.
Was they sad when she left?
I was sad. I don't know if my other cats noticed. Mayana?
Was it daytime or nighttime?
It was daytime. Guys, these were all great questions. Look at how long of a conversation we had. So, let me have Takai. And Peyton, if you want to scoot into Takai's. So we're talking about bad days, but I'm going to ask Takai a different question and practice just a little bit more on how it's going to be on your side when you're talking. Takai, have you ever had something in math that you've had a hard time with?
Yes.
What was it?
It's division.
Division. How did you feel when you saw division the first time?
I was a little upset. It was kind of hard.
A little upset, it was kind of hard. So what did you do when you got a little upset?
Well, my teacher, she showed us a strategy, and I used it, and I got the right answer.
That's awesome. Thank you, Takai, for sharing. Yes, thank you, friends. So I didn't just say, okay, and she didn't just say, it was hard. She told me what she did. She kept the conversation going. In a few moments, I'm going to do our buddy system where we're going to paint chip, and you guys are going to get a chance to pair up, be the questioner and the answerer, and then we're going to switch. So we're going to paint chip. You guys can move apart with your partners into other safe spaces in the room, and then you'll have, I don't know, about 2 minutes to do first person questions, the other person answers, and then we'll switch. You'll hear the transition bell when it's time to switch. The question is about your bad day.
I was playing basketball with my friend and she accidentally tripped me up.
The question is about your bad day.
Were you okay after?
Make sure you're talking about your bad day.
Do you have a
Are you guys
big
talking about your bad day? Okay.
I don't have a dog right now, but I really do want a teacup
Make
yours.
sure you're not in the bad direct for me, and make sure you're talking about your bad day.
Rodney, she don't want the cat.
I hear some great conversations, friends.
Because she says that they don't live for a long time, but she really does want a Shih Tzu.
How do you feel? How do you feel when he ran out the gate?
I was kind of mad because if I kind of never had got him, he still would have been outside, and we still would have been looking for him.
Y'all was outside playing?
No, we had to let him out to go to the bathroom, and he had jumped over the gate. So I had to go off and out the gate and try to chase him, but I couldn't get him.
Where you live?
Right there on the drive.
All right, friends, be finishing up that last thought in just a moment. We're going to switch roles. Nope, switch roles, switch roles. We're not coming back to the carpet yet. Now, if you were answering before, you're the questioner now.
My bad day was when I found out that my uncle passed. She decided to run away.
It was March. No, it was April. And I found out he passed. I brought him to be up for daycare.
How did you feel?
I felt sad. I didn't come out my room for a very long time.
Was anybody else sad?
You gotta reset it again?
No, remember, now you changed roles. So the other person is questioning now. So who was answering the first time? Okay, so it's your turn to answer and your turn to question. Ask about the bad day. You can use some of our examples on our Anchor chart if you get stuck.
What made you get a bad day?
My bad day was yesterday because some people had to walk laps. Some people didn't because I was being disrespectful from the teacher.
All right, friends, be finishing that last thought.
We have long hair. Yeah, but not long like my dogs. My dogs.
Make sure you circle up, please.
She doesn't.
If you and your partner would like to share, raise your hand. I saw Rayma first. Rayma and your partner come to the center. Rayma, what made Antoine have a bad day?
So what made him have a bad day is that he asked his mom if he could have a guinea pig, and so his mom had said no, that he couldn't get a guinea pig, so he had felt sad that she said no.
So what kind of questions did you ask him?
I asked him what would he name his guinea pig, and he said he would name her Joey. And then I asked him if he got to choose what would he want, a boy or a girl, and he chose a girl.
Okay. Antoine, what made Rayma have a bad day?
That she wanted that dog, but her mom said she wanted to get the mom wanted to get the dog.
Oh, okay. So that was really interesting that pets caused both you guys to have a bad day. Thank you for sharing. James, bring your partner to the center, please. It's okay. Thank you for checking with your partner to make sure it's okay. James, what made Madison have a bad day?
She wanted a cat, and her dad said no because he was allergic to cats, and she stomped up the stairs and got mad and threw a temper tantrum.
Wow. What was one question that you asked her?
How old was she when she threw her temper tantrum?
And how old was she?
5.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Madison, what made James have a bad day?
He had a bad day because his grandma said his grandma got mad because his grandma thought he peeled the walls, but it was peeling by itself.
Oh, the paint on the wall? Okay. So what was a question that you asked James about it?
I asked him why was he mad and why, and did you tell her that you didn't think that you didn't peel the wall.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. We have time for one more. Raquel.
So what made the cat sad was when it was on her birthday and her mom surprised her with a cake, and they was singing a birthday song, and her mom slammed the cake in her face.
Oh, okay. So what kind of questions did you ask her?
I asked her, how old were you turning?
And how old was she turning?
9.
Okay.
And I also asked what grade, I said, what grade was you in? And she said it was kind of in summer, so she said 4th grade.
Okay. Takai, what made Raquel have a bad day?
He said that his uncle had passed away, and I said, were you okay? And he said he felt sad. And
You asked me, you said, when was it?
when was it? That's right.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. All right, girls and boys, remember, if you did not get a chance to share this time, hopefully you'll get a chance to share next time. I just want a quick check-in. If you feel like this is a good way for you to make your conversations longer and stronger, give me a me too. If you're not really sure how we're going to use this, that's okay. Just keep your hand in your lap because we're going to do it some more. Thank you for watching our lesson.
Get in the game, Baker Strong.